Valheim Slow and Easy Time-Lapse Edition, Episode 67. Hello, everybody. Just like last episode, this one is going to be based on recordings I've already recorded. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It's me, Hank. It's been a few weeks since I've last recorded anything, at least a little bit out of sorts, but getting back onto the horse and galloping this sweet mare up across the video game mountain in order to produce little poop nuggets that fertilize the top of the mountain, and then they melt in the springtime, providing sustenance to the nearby villagers who live below, down by the trees. And those are you. You are the people who live in the trees who eat mountain poo in the spring. Welcome, everybody. That actually was really fun. It's me, Hank. We're doing it again. Well, that was annoying. The OBS messed up, or the camera disconnected somehow. It first froze my face on there, but I'm going to keep the start of that because I like the thing I said about poop, but I had just gone on and on about all the different ways, all the various things I had to do to make this DaVinci file work for you. It was really exciting. I was really, really cooking. But unfortunately, you're not going to get to hear it. So quick summary, though, is that this is about 9 hours of footage, 9 hours and 36 minutes, processed through 2 different stages of fast forwarding in order to help the program not mess up the audio. There, I summarized everything I took 10 minutes to say in the first attempt at recording this episode. The keyboard tray is falling out again. I've already fixed it once this year, and I've already broken it since I fixed it. So I'm going to have to come up with another solution. So we have about a roughly 12x speed to watch here in the game. And if you're watching the playthrough on Suck Professor, thank you so much. Got some more stuff coming up. I might actually bring back News Dump, which is like a little segment I started doing on Suck Professor a while back. And I don't know what button it is that changes the focus. Hold on. Let's not give them it. Don't bring the food out yet. Make them buy some drinks at the bar first. That's the restaurant code. So, lots of changes coming up. Not changes necessarily, but I've been hyper focused on a couple of projects. One is still neither are fully complete, but one of them especially I had to really buckle down. I went maximum ADHD guy on it, meaning I waited until the very last minute. But the last minute was like 3 weeks of 14-hour days drawing, animating, creating After Effects, whatever they call those projects. Is there some word for After Effects ones? I think they're just called projects. Integrating it, Character Animator, DaVinci Resolve, After Effects, Photoshop. Very proud of the work, and I'm going to share it with you guys someday. Not too far off. I did a bunch of recordings for my new show, Pixel Mover, which is me doing this kind of production work and sort of teaching and sharing tips and maybe tutorials, who knows what. But So I got a lot of work to do to get that going, but I've recorded a lot. And I'm really glad to be back here on this channel making a video. But apologies for the time-lapse thing. We have a 50-minute video here, and I did, some of this I did feel guilty playing without recording it, but I was just like, I had really fried my head on this project. I needed some time off afterwards. It was really intense. Barely got it done. I mean, they didn't have I kind of improvised. Like they trusted me to deliver what my offerings, but it wasn't clear what exactly it would be. So there was a lot of collaboration, I guess, in a sense. But we'll get back to that topic one of these days. So I just recorded a lot of me playing the game without doing any episode recording for Suck Professor. And I try to avoid, I do that fairly often, but I usually just do sort of tedious harvesting crap or running around, maybe some exploring, but usually opening chests and being the kind of tedious crap. But in this case, this is what I've got recorded. There's more to it, but than just this. But it's a major build out of this side of the base. As you know, up to this point in the playthrough, I've got this vertical wall. We've got this this is the south side of the base. That direction straight off is east, I'm pretty sure. Or no, that would be west. And yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that. No, it's that. Yeah, this is the southeast. Whatever. It's one of the sides. And I just impulsively kind of just started to build a room out and started adding things, and it was like a creative burst because that's sort of. But I try to save that for the videos, and I feel bad I didn't do it now, but I shouldn't. But I have it for y'all all to watch right here. I'll stop rambling. Let's just click play. I'm still I'm moving. Yep. Okay. Good. I'm the guy. I got my OBS on the second screen over there. I am monitoring a delivery. Let's see. Okay. Still out for delivery. Not delivered. That's the time where I will, as we all do when we see it, we go, oh yeah. And you put on your outdoor pajamas, and then you open the door and you go, and you grab your package and you skulk backwards into the door and close it, as we all do with our fucking deliveries. Or it's in the front of the building. But all right, so in which case I skitter, I drop down onto like my chest, my hips, and my nipples, a mere 3 inches from the concrete. And my arms splayed out, my legs completely splayed out in a natural way. No human's hips should work that way. And I grab the package with my teeth, and I backwards reverse back into my door, leaving a slime trail that evaporates because it's magic slime, as we all do when the delivery shows up. And that's how I got my new car headlight that I'm going to replace. The bulb, not the full-on boxy part. I need to drive at night, bro. All right, play. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'd already built the yeah, I'm not going to try to pause too much here because this is a 50-minute show, and I might even not talk the entire time. I think that's how we did it last time. I might just let you guys watch the last 30 minutes or something. But oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, these are these Fey lights. They did this new. So you haven't even. Did I miss a bunch? Yeah, I think I must have missed it. But so I don't think I did. Okay, so I've built out this whole room with this big fireplace. It's kind of like I like these kind of cavernous sort of rooms. So yeah, I added this huge fireplace, and then they'd updated the game, and they added these cool Fey lights, which use the glowing things and thistles and some wood, and they make nice little decorative things. And they mist out, or they have these little like particles that fly around. They're kind of fun. So let me just try to catch it on a pause. Right there. There's the big chimney, or not chimney, fireplace that I built for this room. So this room is already starting to take shape, and it's actually quite satisfying. I don't feel 100% great about it, but I wanted to at least close it off and start to build out sort of more of a internal structures to this large base that I got going on. So we'll just let him go. Fey lights underneath there. Why not? Why not elevate your hearth? Close it off. Sometimes it's nice to make spaces that are visible, intentional, but maybe you're not supposed to walk on them. Maybe it's okay to add that to it. So I do spend a lot of time actually engineering these metal sticks, metal posts, the metal parts, metal lumber. I don't even know what they call that. They're the strongest so far. More exploration might reveal some new stuff, but I'm trying to like make that room open. So I do a lot of, I've done a lot of kind of messing with where to locate other support structures. And I think I'm trying to take this one down here in the middle, this one eyesore right in the center of the room. So yeah, I'm kind of testing different, I love their color scheme. I do really quite like the kind of logic of the color system. You need a blue means it's max. It means it's touching the ground. So I did learn that, there was a bunch of these other sort of pylons within the base that I hadn't fully made sure were connected to the bottom. It doesn't matter if you're only going 2, 3, 4, 5 up, like it's pretty strong, even if it's not blue. But if you're sort of trying to maximize it, especially if you're trying to kind of, build out the airplane hangar sort of feeling, the openness, you need to really make sure that the ones that are doing the support are bringing enough green to the top. That's sort of how I see it. The closer to the higher elevations you go, or the higher up you go, the better off, the more you can get green stuff because it's touching blues down below at the base. Up high, the better off you are. Is the phrasing I was trying to get out. So that's fun. So yeah, here we go. This part was actually a little annoying. That little, oh yeah, a couple of pauses here for sure. Getting up to put things in the toilet, and by things I mean, you know, unmentionables. Humans, great shame. They got us feeling shame about normal things. Everybody. Oh, we had to fight off some ghosts. Just pause it. Oh, see, that's a fun one. Bring it on. Trying to get one on a battle. Boom. They have been banished for now. That's how I feel every time I... Okay. So I'm feeling good about this whole swing of this. Oh, yeah, that's right. We did a lot of this, building out the floor, which also serves as the ceiling for the room below. I have a great need for stone. That's a big thing we're running short on, probably because I'm constantly wasting stone. Okay, new file. Oh, that's right. I had meant to like put little transitions on every time the file changes because, you know, these are, but we're not doing that. Sorry. A major thing we're going to do, and this is actually one thing I've been kind of eager to do. I just haven't had the time to put in the effort to get this thing ready that I'm recording now. Is, if I can pause it, I'm going to catch a moment. Yeah, so in the next episode, I'm going to clear a lot of these trees, the Christmas trees, and these skeleton bones, and some of and these stair things. So that whole they've become encumbering because now that we're, you know, using this side of the base much more, I've been super annoyed at running around those things for a while. But yeah, so I'm going to share that with you when we start. I did save some of it for you guys. That'll be a nice moment. There's other stuff that's going on in the base. See right there, what I was doing, that mound is making sure that the metal is blue where it touches the ground. If you really didn't care about any kind of 90-degree flush flat surfaces, you could just build big piles of earth. This game will let you do kind of a spike out of the ground. That's another big part of, you know, as you've seen me do all the tree farm stuff. Certainly got a lot of practice adding dirt and then taking it away and then sculpting it up. It's sometimes pretty frustrating, but I don't know. I think there's some sort of logic exists. So yeah, it's also sort of like this case here with this centerpiece or with this upright. It's kind of the marrying two different layers of this basement. But they're done at different stages, so they're not quite perfectly aligned. They're off by half, by a mathematical half. Hold on, just back up. So we just saw some menus. I don't know what they are thinking at Valheim headquarters. They're doing this. You make a change to one of the settings, and it goes, does this work correctly? It's like, I don't know. I haven't yet gone back to the game. How am I supposed to say yes to that? But you can't proceed if you don't say. It's like some stupid person did a thing with the way the software, like, it's like when you call somebody and then it sounds shitty. You go, let's call back, and then the first thing you say is, "Can you hear me? Do I sound better?" It's like, wow, let's give it a little while to see if it works. Like, I don't know if it works correctly or not. How about we test it before I can answer this question? This question is out of sequence. Anyway, moving on. This thing moving at 12x speed forces me to like abandon my darlings. You know, they say in creativity kind of stuff, you know, writing and editing, telling stories, doing, you know, when you're refining your process, the process of refinement often is referred to as kill your darlings. And that's sad. I kill a lot of my darlings. I probably should have killed more over the years, but abandoning them is just as effective. You know, that's good. But so some smoke issues I need to sort out with those overhead lamp things, whatever the braziers. Are they called braziers or braziers? But we're pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy with the results that I've gotten so far out of this whole room thing. Even with the kind of that shot, especially the less than perfect kind of metal connections. I do a lot of experimenting. Not everything is done right the first time, for sure. And then, sometimes I have incredibly clear visions of how I want something to look or feel or whatever. And then sometimes I'm just sort of like, well, I don't really know it all, but I just know that if I get going, it'll become more clear as we go. See, here we go. This is sort of the top. I think that's kind of cool. There's the bedroom. That's where my collection of mostly melted wives and I sleep. I was building out this kind of roof thing, which I might end up extending over this platform if we decided something to do with this huge platform. There's just so many different tasks ahead in terms of interior design and decorating that are mostly for the indoor stuff that I kind of leave these outdoor spaces a bit more. But I wanted this whole area to look cool. I'm kind of tired of the game output or the construction the feeling that everything is just asunder and partially built, even though that's kind of been the whole theme of this entire thing, which very much mirrors my real life. No, I was having fun. Did some pointing, some of this back and forth stuff. Is the mouse on screen there? Sorry, I'll try not to leave it right in the center. Oh, these top-down ones are pretty cool. Yeah, I should slow these down. That'd be a cool way to play the game, wouldn't it? We're recording, aren't we? Yes, good. Let's see. Where is my... Do I have to go outside and hiss? Nope, not yet delivered. Come on. Yeah. I mean, one of the things with this metal stuff is you could easily just like overbuild. You don't have to like be... I'm not incredibly stingy with it either, but I'm not overbuilding. I'm trying to make it so that the sort of structural support parts are a little bit less obvious. Although in this particular point here, I'm not doing that with this weird upright chunky bit that I was working on. Enjoyed a little bit of green skull staring at me from the fire pit during the storm. I did notice some Santas flying over. Almost like they seem to be a little bit within my shot range a bit more. Like they were more direct overhead. I don't know if that's enough data to conclude that they made any changes, but I did observe at least a slightly higher chance of hitting them. I waited for the lightning to illuminate the words. I've got so much work to do in this kitchen. There's just a much more involved inventory system I think I need to do. I think I just need to just break some walls down and improvise, like Jack Kerouac, like Mozart, like that lady who sculpts those beautiful women out of marble, and then people say women can't sculpt this, and then the meme goes, well, no, a woman did sculpt this. You fucking morons. Tables. This is where I was building out a little display nook. I think maybe in a past life I worked at a department store where I put mannequins in vests and fishing gear and put hooks on their hats and stuff. And maybe one sat down because it had too much Quaaludes in its system from overeating too many fish. Fish being the number one source of Quaaludes in mannequin land, obviously. So this is a big moment here where I close up the room a bit more here, I think, kind of. Yeah, that's the thing that I kind of do in this game is I sort of leave everything a little bit 4/5, 3/5, 7/12 empty. Like one of the walls will be open to the sky, or I'll leave some sort of opening, and I'm kind of trying to resist that impulse, and have fully enclosed interior spaces. Although I don't actually achieve that with this build either, but it gets a little closer. I do enjoy these lights. I was kind of messing with the how I wanted them to layer. I found I didn't like that they were just all one type of layer. If you're thinking in After Effects terms, the rotation and the Z coordinates weren't really involved much. That would be a Y rotation, by the way, just for those of you keeping score at home. X would be this, Y would be this, Z would be this. Doing a lot of After Effects. Yeah, I'm all juiced up now. I'm ready. I think I said this in the previous effort at recording this video, but I think I also mentioned it this one, so forgive me for repeating myself. But yeah, New Stump is coming back, I think. I got the Hank character. I haven't actually rebuilt the puppet. I don't have to rebuild it fully, but I want to. A lot of the work I'd been doing in the last bit is related to, was using a character animator, and it was an animation part for like a film, adding animations to a film. So, really kind of looking forward to doing more with the Hank animated character, who plays a fairly big role in the documentary I'm making about the Young Turks. Actually, at this point here, I decided to create like a ramp down, not just a doorway and some stairs. So it's sort of a, like if you go to let's say they have some weird bones to show everybody, like the Mammoth Museum or something, and you're like, walk this way. Like it's like building with like funding, the kind of stuff you would see somewhere. I mean, there are. It's not completely bereft, but in a society I would design, it'd be mostly museums, frankly. But like the kind of arts and sort of buildings and cultural heritage and cultural celebration and display type of stuff would play a major role. But those places have ramps, they have long hallways, and sometimes you go back and down. So I was sort of going for a similar feeling, although it actually makes the whole place feel kind of claustrophobic and unpleasant, especially since there's a rock that I have yet to damage or destroy, which I'm going to try taking out part of the rock and hoping that it breaks apart in a way that I can work with. But I might end up having to just, murk the entire thing. We might be deleting a rock in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. Putting in stairs, doing a lot of night work. Yeah, this little room here was where I was going to make this my fish base, like fish station, depot, like a hub for launching fishing missions, as well as putting up fish decorations. Oh, okay. See, look, that's fun. I added a couple that stick out that go like that. Before they were all just stacked up, and then I actually took down a bunch that I had stacked up, and now I switched it so that they're sort of, I can't do it this, yeah, I guess I kind of can, but like I switched it so that they're at angles to each other, which gives a little bit more depth to the way the little particles come out, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I did a lot of work with these hallways, or not really hallways, not the right word, but with these transitions, doorways, from one room to the next. I don't know what to do with these big rooms, though. I've got the other huge room, which is probably twice the size of this huge room. You could build a house inside. That's kind of cool. Maybe basketball court. I kind of want to have the grand vision, I guess, is that everywhere you walk is kind of like you find some new art, something like a sculpture, a decoration, the corpse of a victim, things that people appreciate. and that there's like a natural flow to the course, to the whole thing. Although I definitely feel very far away from that at this point. The other kind of long-term sort of goal is that I would like to get to a point where past a certain threshold in the base. How's that looking? A little more headspace. Past a certain threshold in the base, like no matter where you are, you're getting rested, which is easy enough to do in terms of having a roof, and so it tells you you're resting. But then at what number? You know, this constant game. Like I know where I have a number 12 for resting up in the workshop, and around that area, there's some higher numbers. But in order to like, this room will now have the maximum of 8, and in that room will be 9, and then like that one place will be the 12, and I'll try to make so that wherever I go, I'm at least at 10. You know, and so we'll sort of figure out how that works in terms of what makes that number go up, which is like putting up decorations and building nicer things and setting them all down. So sort of encourages you to like add stuff. I don't know if it necessarily gives you points because you're hilarious and charming. It should, because then I would be at infinity. It would add that. Yeah. That's a fun concept, infinity. Yeah, okay. I added some blocks to the bottom of the desk to this like thing that's sticking out, so to prevent the keyboard tray from collapsing down and falling onto the ground and slicing my leg open, letting out my humors. Black puddles of sentient ooze would squirt out my calf muscle. I have one calf muscle. It's on my left side. Basement, fun. These are kind of cool. Like, it's a little too fast, but also we got 50 minutes of this shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. I rejected adding more stuff to that one. Doing some eyeballing things. That's what you do in woodworking and in other creative type efforts. Oh yeah, the grass at the bottom down here I thought was a brilliant touch. You're not going to expect that when you're walking through this place for the first time, wondering how this guy makes all his money. He's got grass in his basement, man. It's crazy. All of a sudden there's fucking grass downstairs. It's like, whoa, bro. Whoa, bro. As I was saying, I had something I was going on about. That was excellent. So I kept getting inspired to do stuff with this room. I think you're going to see, and you're going to be impressed with where it ends up. Putting up these mount things all take frickin' fine wood and bronze nails. I have plenty of bronze nails, although we are slowly approaching our running out of steel. I've got a couple, as you've seen already, I've got some places picked out for further steel harvesting, so we'll have to do a cycle or two of that. Yeah, had to fend off some attackers trying to mess up my barley efforts. So yeah, what was I saying though? Something about being inspired to oh yeah, all this fine wood. So like partially something that's been really frustrating me, and even though I could have done it totally and it would have been fine, is the whole point of the tree farm is to have a constant supply of birch trees going. Although I might end up running out of seeds depending on on the replacement rate. If you get one per tree, then you might be okay. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But the whole tree farm was meant to kind of solve my annoyances with having to go out and harvest up fine woods, because I can't stop myself. I'm a decorating fiend. If they made a TV show about me, they'd call it not hoarders, decorators. That's what they would call it. And then they would sit there and I would be looking sad. The bottom of my belly would be poking out the bottom of my t-shirt, and I'd be pointing at stuff being like, this fish is a 1, that one's a 2, there's a 5 somewhere. It's in a chest around here. I can't find it. I don't know. It's somewhere. I have to go look for it. Hold on, I'll be right back. Oh, there I am trying to kill Santa. Much deserved. I'll be fast. I wonder if that is going to be a problem. Right, we got some nice views from up here. It was kind of fun how fast that thing was moving, wasn't it? So there's the big flat bit. Underneath there is that huge cavernous room we were just running around in. There's the workshop. Still have a lot of work to do for my portals. Some sort of overall, though, I have man, I keep forgetting threads I was getting on about. I know there's something. Let's see here. Oh yeah, look at that. Did some dancing just to pause it. Clearly just having fun. Lonely man, completely isolated. His only friends are the decorations he steals from his victims and the victims themselves when they rightfully try to exact revenge. But yeah, this is a bit of that kind of crisscross walkway thing I was telling you about. You know, this is just jazz. This is jazz here. This is me just going. And then somebody in the audience goes, oh yeah, syncopation or something, modulating. Oh, minor key, minors. That scene in Collateral, the Michael Mann film starring Tom Cruise, where he goes to the jazz club. Very intense film. Very intense scene. They did make it so that you can put down the ancient seeds. You saw me do that. That's the green seed. Those are always sort of just a junk thing I kept because I could, you know, the hoarding. But glad I did, by the way. This is actually bad news for the world because hoarders are going to learn that they have been right all along if they watch this playthrough. Because now I can use them as decorations. They glow. They're like a big, ugly green ball with crap on it, but they glow. Green light. I was using potions to make green light. Now we got ancient seeds. Yeah, made a little window there to look into the thing. So it's got this awkward, it's got the crisscross hallway down, and then there's like an entrance room, and then you enter the big room. And it actually is very I like it, but I also don't like it. What you'll see in the next game or in the next playthrough when we start doing that one, where these rooms are all overlapping each other, kind of, and like it's disorienting. It has crazy rich person feeling to it for sure. Like the crazy bit being the not hiring professional architects and designers and stuff instead just insisting on things being a certain way because you're the one with the money and therefore the power. Very nice. Very nice. Yep. Okay. There you go. One of the real soon projects is to tear this building down here. This thing is just an eyesore. I might even rearrange this road a little bit, make some more space, but I don't know. We'll see. But this thing has just got to go. I built these to protect myself from drakes. There's been 3 of them. There's only 1 left. A relic of a lower hit points time. Oh shit! Delivered. All right, I'm gonna let it play though, y'all. I'll be back. Me again. Yes, it's still working. Good. Hell yeah. I got headlight bulbs. This is a thing. I hadn't bought them since 2021, and one of my headlights was out. So of course, and I don't do a ton of driving, but get around, and I had this terrifying feeling of being pulled over. There's my knife. It was not exactly in my knife spot. And having a headlight out, you could turn your brights on, then you got both your brights working. My car also has these like secondary bulb, like I don't know if they're called fog lights. I don't think they are, but I know what fog lights are. These are like white. I think they're like parking or idle or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That I was sort of thinking could be a substitute to not invite the presence of the popo to ask what you're doing, to not have a armed goon from the government give you shit about your car, So I had to, figure out which headlights I had. And I had some in my car already. I had fucking bulbs sitting there. And I changed one of them on the side that it was out. And then nothing was fixed. It turns out those are the high beams. I just replaced the high beam with a bulb. With a high beam bulb. I must have purchased these high beam bulbs previously. Oh, yeah, the blueberry table. I found that to be sort of fun. I think I intentionally tried to make it scattered, not just look how the camera snaps to the logs. That's sort of funny. But yeah, I like my little fish room with the window. So then I replaced the high beam bulb, and I decided to take it out, swap it again, because the one I had in there was working. I'm not using my brights very much. They're not going to wear out. And but it's just the low beams, the regular ones. So then I jump on the old internet, start looking at bulbs. I was thinking maybe getting one from a nearby store, but it was way more expensive and not about to close. And so I decided to order some bulbs. But in the intervening years, since 2021, and of course this started way before then, LEDs have come to dominate the market. There were some LED bulb options for my car. The H11s. That's like the code brand, not brand, but the style for the car, which goes across. It's a Prius, but it fits on plenty of other cars. It's a standardized part. There should be more standardized parts in cars, honestly. One of the reasons it's extra expensive is that you have to have different radio knobs for different fucking, anyway, go off about that. But all these LED ones, some of them are crazy expensive, hundreds, even like $70 is nuts for 2 bulbs. I was looking at stuff for like 30, which was still more than I want to spend at this point. But I do have $30 to spend on my car. I have to have headlights, and but I did some research too. I was like, are these bulbs cool? I don't want to be one of those people with the bright bulbs in the Prius. It's a low front end, a low profile. I'm not by any means the problem driving the trucks and the freaking brights and these headlights. I hate them. I'm hypersensitive to light, as you know, the autism, and it's a younger me could handle a lot more than I can nowadays. So like I try to avoid nighttime driving, but when people have those brights, man, I just can't deal with it. So I didn't want to just go straight up for the LEDs. Could have. There was some on sale, $20 for 2 bulbs or 24 or something. That would have been fine. I could eat that. I gotta pay for it anyway when we do not drive, not have headlights. And so I did a little bit of research. I sort of found some Reddit threads. See, in that little spot there, I'm trying to like create like a little terrarium, a little sort of aquarium. What would be a better word? Diorama? Display? What's that thing where you make like a little bunch of, like a little room inside a shoebox and you look inside of it? There's like really fancy art versions of that in Chicago at one of the museums. I think diorama, right? So I decided against the there's probably some merit to getting more expensive bulbs, like the better brands and stuff. Maybe you can suss that out with some research. I wouldn't don't just always assume more money means more, but that is sometimes true. But of course, I'm on the cheaper end of it, and I was like, maybe I'll just do it. I'm sure it's fine. A lot of people say it's fine, but it's like white. I want a warm color. I don't want cool. I want warm. If you're not familiar with light color temperature wording, the two words warm and cool basically means yellow and blue. So when something is orangey, kind of warm yellow, that's what we say is warming up a shot. Or it's a warm shot. The light is warm. And then the bluer colors we say is cool. And if I got a 50-50 chance of being correct, but it's the temperature color ranges are between like something thousand, like 3,000 Kelvin to like 10,000. I know it gets higher than that. But I think the warm one is, I think cool is on the smaller end. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so I was like, because I had the old halogen bulbs. And one of the things people were saying this room was kind of cool. I like this it's sort of a hallway, but I kind of made it this interesting little, chimney of a sort, since there's a hole to the ceiling. And an opening is better than the word hole, I guess. But it's not, the thing is, I don't like this because the brazier is centered to the room, but it's not centered to the hole. And that's annoying. That's an incongruity that is going to cause a downfall of my society. One of the things they're saying in the headlight forums on Reddit with the halogens, some people didn't give a shit, and I can't necessarily blame people either. It's not like you're going to be a problem. Oh, I thought this was kind of great. I'm sure you'll agree. Putting down a bunch of these things under here. This adds a nice little bit of light and kind of ocean depth texture. Looks like something you'd find, big piles of shit on the bottom of the ocean. Just think of all the crap human boats and ships have left. I know stuff rots fast in the ocean because it's salt water, but, several thousand tons of minions, Funko Pops, a bunch of shit down there. They're saying that if you have the halogen, like housing, that's your bulb design for the car is a halogen, which is what most of the headlights are. That's like the technology just before LED. It's also got reflectors in there that's what make it beam straight out. So it's a big mirror. That's like your flashlight. It's like a mirror. It's a conical mirror with a bulb. The mirror. Mirrors, huh? Pretty cool things, right? My God, what the heck? What a cool invention. Reflection. And that can be partly problematic when you have the LED. And then people are saying there's also actually a way to like you can change the headlight orientation. I'm doing it to the camera. Sorry, it's so dark. I didn't even rotate my blue thing. There you go. Oh, that's better. It sucks for my... But yeah, so you get the headlight. I guess there's a way to adjust that with screwdrivers or something. And this part here, what I'm trying to do is make it so that the phthalites emit their blue particles without seeing the phthalites. So I was burying the phthalites inside the stone. And I did a couple of different rounds of that because I'm trying to create the diorama where there's like blue. That's the surface. And then there's the fish. There's the blue flags. Then there's the green at the bottom and the mucky grass at the bottom. So we'll keep playing with that. That's kind of fun. I had fun with that wall, even though it's basically a broom closet. So what was I saying? Oh, LED or halogen. To replace the halogens I'd previously paid about 25, 30 or so for two. Watch, it's going to be my luck. I have the other one somewhere. I feel like it's always how it is for me. Like I'll find it as soon as So I was going to get an LED, and then I saw a cheapy one. I noticed there was something on sale for $10 for two. That was the H11 model. And I actually had the old one right here. This is the one I took out. This is a Philips brand, and I'm looking at the housing, the aluminum bit there. This is better built. You could just tell by the amount of like machining that has happened to it. So this cheap one looks cheaper too. It's not identical. But the reviews were very positive. However, the reviews only go back to December. And people say it was very cheap, hope it lasts. But it's working. So what's the downside? It's some brand. I went and searched the brand on Reddit and on not Reddit, internet, and didn't really find any chatter about that brand. That brand is featured on all sorts of other Amazon in different countries. Oh, yeah. We did a little remote stuff here. That's right. I like how the clouds move over the map. That's kind of fun. I was looking. Oh, that's right. So now I'm scouting for rocks. I need a lot of stone, and I'm kind of looking for quarry sites. We're scouting quarry sites, marking stones. I think I end up in the snow a bunch in this coming up here in a second. Yeah, killing some drakes, shooting things. Feeling pretty confident wearing my cold weather armor. Not much can hurt me. Also sort of like finding stuff I'd already been to that I forgot about. So after being unable to verify if this brand, this random brand, had good reviews, or I mean, had like, is this safe? Is this bad? You know, other people. No, there wasn't a lot of detail, but there weren't. Most of its products sold had not. When I say most, I didn't look at everything, but like other products that they had sold were all headlights, and they were all positively reviewed. But the major red flag is that it's recently added. So maybe it's just some new OEM manufacturer that's just wanting to sell off a whole bunch of crap and are doing it really cheap to get some market penetration. Or they're selling crap and it's going to break. The worst case scenario is like it explodes and causes mayhem and a fire, which I don't think bulbs necessarily break like that. They tend to just stop working, right? Like actually, if you look at this one, and I know you can't see it, but the little bit is busted. There's a broken. Let's try this. No, that didn't work. Maybe if I. There's a broken part. It's like a spring looking thing. I can't. It's hard to do it with this microphone in the way. You ever look at your finger through a flashlight, by the way? It's crazy. Look at this. Oh, look, I killed the troll. It's actually picking up way too bright on the camera. I can't turn my wrist enough to get an angle. I'm trying to do my thumb. We'll just do some fingers. Yeah, do it. It's a great way to see how dirty your fingernails are too. But you can see like veins and stuff if you put them in your like straight up all the way through your. Look at that. That's freaky, huh? Oh, my knuckles are glow. It's so crazy. Physics is awesome. Yeah, so I did find some rocks that I thought I'd use that might make good spots. Looks like I'm just going to keep talking this whole time. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Just sharing about my bulb purchasing. There's the old one. Let's open it up. Oh! Yes. H11 bulbs. Easy to swap out. Little intimidating sometimes. Pop open a car hood, looking in there and seeing stuff. I don't have. Oh yeah, I remember that one. I thought I was so smart by putting the post directly behind the guy. What a difference. Oh, that's right. I did those dudes. Yeah, I forgot about that. So, yeah, and I think different car makers make different ease of access. These is actually pretty easy. You just gotta rotate it, turn it. There's cables. It always feels like you're gonna break something though. I am very good with machines and with mechanical knowledge. Like I fish tanks, woodworking, video editing. So like I don't have any doubt that I would be able to, that I would struggle with engines and like mechanic stuff. You know, I think I have the kind of brain that would understand that stuff, but I still don't have the knowledge. I often feel very in the dark when it comes to sort of engines and that sort of thing, machinery that runs like that. Like with instruction and with tinkering, I definitely have this sort of, you know, capacity to learn that crap, but I often feel very like in the woods with it a little bit. So, oh yeah, these blobs, that's what they're called. Trophies. I know I'm moving quick here, but they drip water. But I've realized that they don't drip water if they're covered. So I think they have to have sky exposure. Because I had some that are already set up. There's 2 different locations where I have them, and they drip water. But there's one where there's like, it's like a chimney around a different part, where one of them is in the sky exposure and one of them's not, and like the rest of the 2 others aren't. And I was just looking at that. So in this point here, I'm trying to build like a little rain wall using this sky exposure that we have because of the hole in the ceiling, aka opening. So I was taking a bunch of time setting these dudes in, trying to figure out a way to put them together. You know, you don't just have to use all their items just straight on, where it's a skull inside of a piece of old lettuce. So I made like a little drip garden. Yeah, drip garden. We'll call it that. That'd be a good name for a strip club. But I also want it to be symmetrical, kind of evenly spaced. Yeah. But see, the thing is with this here is that they don't all drip. They're not all exposed to the sky. It's like only like the left, like 2/3 of them are. And this is me messing with different ways. I did learn that by putting wood over them, it basically deactivates the dripping. So I was messing around with how am I going to kind of, there's a gardening word I'm looking for. Garden? You know what I'm saying? Planter box? Kind of a planter box. Yeah. So that's what I was doing with that one. It did end up working, and it actually looks kind of cool from above. You can't tell that those are foreheads, that those are the skulls of victims. It just looks like a weird plant, some kind of weird. I see you've hired the weird plants. Don't tell anybody they're skulls. Bleh. Very Epstein. Very ruling class, you might say. Did go visit the tree farm. Fun for everybody. Am I still working? Yes. Oh. Damn, there's audio. Okay. I'll mess with that later. Fast. This is what I was saying, man. We need stones. So I started to work on one of my quarries here. This was actually one of the woods I had sort of set up. I'm very annoying with this time wasting kind of annoyance. I think there's a bear. That's right. Look at him. Gotcha, bear. The greatest shooting of all, the camera. But I like to do with the stones. I like to clear a whole perimeter before I even do anything, which is a total waste of time. You could just chop at them until it kind of goes away. But this way I can kind of have confidence that I've totally maximized the stones that I will pull from the thing. And it's fun to sort of dig under them. And I don't know. I don't know why I have to be that thorough about it. But it's in sync. That's what I like about this process. Because I've tried to do these speed up things before, and DaVinci just goes goofy after around 1,000% at about 10x. Even though if it was slightly out, I don't think anybody would care or notice. Like this could probably benefit from being a little bit slower, that part. So yeah, we're just having fun with this. I think I got a whole bunch of stacks. You know, a good 7, 8, 9 stone stacks is enough for the work that I was doing. Gonna need a lot more, though. I think at one point here we end up going to the plains. We're heading closer to the end. How's it looking there? I'm doing some new recording setup, so I don't know if that was behind my camera shot or not. Just a man and a knife and a burrito. Actually, it's a fish wrap. Ooh, I could go for some fish wraps right now. Insert fish singing rap songs to each other. Doing some slow walks with the same camera angle. That kind of gives a nice little look at the place. Part of me wants to, yeah, see, there's that annoying bit. So now we're into sort of this part where if you go one way, you end up in a different room than in the other way. So it's really confusing. You'll see it again, I'm sure. But I'm kind of happy with it, though. And I don't know why I did this. I built this part here on top of the flat bit. I just decided to build like a little raised platform. Maybe we're going to have a folk festival. 6 different bands, each playing it. You know, 4 in the corners, 2 on 2 of the ends. Could have said 8. Would have made that easier. So here we are. Okay. I know what's about to happen. And when we start the next episode, you'll see. You'll all see. Guess what I had a major dose of here? My classic, my old nemesis. Overconfidence. Bow! Dead. Dead as a goddamn dead guy. Just cooked. What? So what is this? Oh, this is out of order. So I didn't even make sure that those files were stacked up on the right. I thought they were. I checked the first few of them. Can never trust these NLEs. Or is this yeah, this is a duplicate. All right, whatever. It's fine. So yeah, we ended up dying. Here, let's go slow. Is there a slow? If I hold down, I could do 1 frame at a time. You know, I was getting attacked by little dudes. Everything was going fine, and then I decided to lure these guys over, all 3 at once. I even had bone mass right there. I used bone mass, but I still was sort of low on hit points, and they were high on aggression. Probably pretty mad that they were just minding their own business in the rainy night, and then all of a sudden some asshole starts shooting at them, hitting them, and so they didn't have it. They weren't about that. Sorry, we're going slow here. I'm using the shuttle buttons, J, K, and L. So that's how much frame skippage you get. So yeah, here we go. 20 health. Bone mass of 9 seconds into bone mass. I thought I was safe. Not that but then one guy gives me the pushback into a stump. And then the 1-2 whammy. 1-2 whammy blammy. And the Locks got to experience the slightest feeling of justice for the briefest period of time until the video game wiped out their consciousness yet once more. Dead. So I wake up bald and fucking hot. I wish I had that body. I'd go to the bars and die of all the STDs if I had that guy's body. That's my goal. That would be awesome. So, all right. Well, in the next episode, we're going to pick up right here, everybody. Thanks for watching. About an hour. I'm going to go put that headlamp in my bulb. Wait, did I say that right? Headlight in my car. And at least make sure that it works so I can close the ticket in my freaking brain. I think it'll be fine. I got it right there. You know, that'll be all right. Little auto parts stuff. I do want to learn how to fix up cars. Yeah, like I want to be the guy who like has like a cool. I want real life Valheim. I want a shitty little house with 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom for podcasting and 1 bedroom for me to sleep. I guess maybe not. And well, who knows? And I'll have all sorts of piles of tools and weird shit. And then I'll have a barn I fix up and make TikToks. And the barn will also be a video production studio. I can be far enough away from neighbors so that I can go fully unmasked autistic. That is to say, I am constantly restraining myself from talking out loud. I'm a talk out loud at himself guy because I'll start to have conversations with people in my brain. I know I'm not hallucinating them. I know I'm just imagining it, but I still, will start to kind of rehearse my head. But I'm a verbal processor, but I feel constrained by living near people to the degree that I don't even do it even when no one's home. Occasionally I'll let it slip and I'll be like, oh, but I want to be fully ranting and raving for several hours a day, upwards of 18 hours a day, while making TikToks and videos and making little build videos and getting people to be like, can't wait for Hank's Volkswagen video. And then I'll buy old cars. I don't even want to be a car guy. I'm just not even a car guy. But I want to like fix up stuff, do projects, analog, I want to have the ability to like fix up. I think it's a good apocalypse skill. Not that I really plan on this working out, but the newer cars are all computers. You got to have all kinds of plugins and computers to make it shit work. But why can't we just have cars that have solid parts that last a long time? Partly what's the bad part about cars is, and it's not like this is eliminated with trains, but just that this transportation system we've got is so wasteful because we all have to pay for these fucking cars and the insurance and the death and the funeral costs and the wasted time and the pollution and the space it takes to keep our fucking cars. I'm so sick of cars. I like cars, but it's just a dumb way to run a society. Unless you're trying to make money, in which case you get to do that. And those people who made those decisions died dozens of decades ago. Not dozens of decades, but dozens of years ago. So we're all stuck in their world, but it makes money for their descendants who like to sell oil and car parts. It's annoying, man. World's got to figure this shit out. Consumerism and consumption, just not to go, but like ending capitalism doesn't fix the consumption issue. We still have to manage that, but we have a much better chance of managing it if we're not doing the thing that is designed to maximize waste and consumption. We have to give ourselves a chance at surviving this because it is not getting better unless we make some changes. So on that note, I'm going to go put a bulb in my car and turn my lights on so I don't get pulled over by the popo. And I hope you don't get pulled over by the popo on your way to clicking like and subscribe and leaving a nice comment. So, oh man, it's so annoying. I'm hungry now. I just want to eat. I don't want to play a game. I do want to play the game. I want to record, but I also want to just get some dang food. So I'll have to make a decision after I press stop. Take care of yourself. Hope you're all doing okay out there. Be good to your brain. Just, make sure you're just spend some time with the quietness. Try to not to let your phone completely overwhelm your consciousness. Like I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to not feel that compulsion so much. Oh God, they're really just taking it all, aren't they? The final frontier is human cognition. Good night, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye. Wait, let me give you a bulb simulation.